Guru, Iboya, Buche, everybody in Cyberland. It's your favorite Babalao. At least I hope so. Omo doing Dileke coming at you with another video. And before I jump into this video, please do me a favor, give me a like, subscribe, and at the end of the video, if you don't like what you hear, you can unlike, you can unsubscribe. Right? So that way we can get the numbers up and I'm able to take advantage of some of the features that YouTube offers. Okay, but with that said, all right, let's jump right in. I want to make this video based on a conversation my wife and I had on some do's and don'ts, right? And lack of understanding within our faith. And the more and more, I dwell on it and the more and more, I think of it, I find myself to be a very humble person. And I try to be as passive aggressive because sometimes I could be too aggressive on certain things. But when it comes to our faith, I take that to heart. Heart. All right. So I want to make the title of this video Code of Conduct. And in the Code of Conduct, if I had to, I would put Code of Conduct on top. And I will put 3 words in order for us to fully, truly understand what the code of conduct encompasses. And I would like to use the words knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Under the word knowledge and understanding, they almost synonymously work together in order to develop you. Both spiritually, mentally, physically, socially. So we gain some of our characteristics when we talk about ethic and moral values under the knowledge and understanding. And within wisdom, we understand that we have to look to our elders, look to our written scriptures, look at the advice given to us in consultations, look towards your ita. Those things are the cornerstone of our faith. So, let's start now. Remember what I said. Code of conduct, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Rule number 1. In order to learn, one must first understand the philosophy. In order to gain the knowledge, you have to understand. In order for you to one day contribute to being wise and wisdom. So, code of conduct. Please respect each other, respect yourself, respect the faith. So, respect. Code number 1. And why? Well, we respect because we understand now in our faith that our cornerstone and our foundation is ancestor and Egun worship, right? We get that. We understand that. So once you're ready to move on from ancestor and Egun worship, there is a normal phase approach on how the rest of your spiritual development needs to go. Eguns come first. Then we give you an initiation of warriors. Then when your warriors are there and we start to solidify who you are spiritually, we give you your mano de orula, which is your destiny, your sign. And when we give you your sign, we tell you who's the guardian orisha that walks with you. And you begin to develop a lot of what that looks like for you, because all that dictates what happens next. Respect. We have to respect that process. And anyone who is not respecting that process, you should challenge. Remember what I said. Understand Egun's ancestors, whether it's the Boeda, whether it's you going to a spiritual mass, whether it's going to a tambol counts, a drumming ceremony is a tambol, and then once you start to understand some of those ins and outs, then you get initiated. In the initiation process, warriors, mano de orula, and then we stop for a minute and we think. We have to respect not only the faith, but respect yourself. Because if you don't have the knowledge that's in that mano de orula, which is your life sign, inmerita, and who your guardian orisha is, how can you go get a collar ceremony if we don't even know who your guardian orisha is? How can we scratch you in palo without understanding the effects that it's going to have on your guardian orisha? How are you going to be doing things within the faith without taking proper respect for yourself, your ori, your spirit guide, your guardian orisha? We got to be able to manifest those things. So, rule number one, respect. Respect yourself so that you can come out on top with less trials and tribulations. That's number one, respect. Understanding. Understand that in this faith, there is a lot of taboos. A lot of taboos. They're good and bad in everything. Because that's the cornerstone of our faith. The sun, the moon. The good, the bad. The positive, the negative. The male, the female. All right? We have to respect those things because everything is for a reason. No different than we have certain taboos within ceremonies where we have females turn around because the females can't face the egg wounds. We have men that have to cover their private parts. We have women that have to cover their chest. We have women wear skirts. Guys have to wear long pants. We have to cover our shoulders, male and females. And everything is contributed because of how our bodies are made up. So we have to be able to understand now that there are different codes of conduct within the faith of even things of whether it's dress code, whether it's how we behave in certain ceremonies and when we do certain things, how we talk to each other, right? When you talk to a bawalao, iburu, iboya, ibucheche, olu, iburu boya, ibucheche, right? People say santo, depending on the situation. Bendiciones, respect, blessings, ache, acheo. Everybody does that. Mufurubale, when somebody puts their head down to somebody else, that's an elder, is to show respect from your head to his head. We have to have an understanding and a clear understanding on how that plays out. Now we have to respect the journey. I'll give you an example. Not everybody's cut out to go ahead and jump that step or be initiated to receive a godfather or godmother of their choosing. Sometimes it gets a little weird, right? You go to the foot of, let's say, a bawalao, and a bawalao says, yeah, hey, good. You know what? You want to get initiated? Let's ask Ifan. Ifan says, whoa, you can't get initiated right now. Because there's something in your journey that you must probably complete first, or we have to wait a little longer in order to bring you into the fold. If you want to stay, well, let's say me as a godfather. Or the guy that I am, I refer you to somebody else because maybe your journey is better off with somebody else and not me, not in this spiritual house, because those things matter. No different than when you get your collar ceremony and you are going to now link yourself up because you're going to find yourself a madrina, a godmother or godfather who's going to walk you through that journey of getting crowned. We have to know what right looks like. And who knows it better than the orishas, orula? It's not for us to decide. Code of conduct, understanding. So now we understand respect. Knowledge and understanding is up here. We got number one, which is respect. Number two, we need to have a thorough understanding of the code of conducts when it comes within the faith. But now we need to understand also what is permitted and what is not. Okay. When people go through spiritual journeys, do not get mad when someone tells you got to go wear all white. Don't get mad that if you get crowned one day and you are now in Iyaworahe, right? Someone who's recently crowned, and now there are certain regulations and rules that you must follow in order for you to properly be able to lift your orishas up because you are a baby born. And you have to wear white, and you can't eat on the table, and you're going to have to eat in your tera, in a certain plate, in a certain cup. There's rules to everything. Babalaos included. Babalaos included. Which brings me to my next point. Everything I said up to this point now is talking about non-initiates and people who have initiated and people who have gotten crowned, okay, or people who maybe got into the room of Ifa. But let's dig a little deeper. And this is why I tell people, being a Babalao is not for everybody. It's not. Lots and lots of study. Anybody who understands me or knows me, and you see what I offer to the community, the thorough understandings of Oduns, okay? Those things matter, but they take time. It takes practice. It takes studying. It takes perspective. It takes talking to other Babalaos, right? And hearing their perspective, opening up my mind so that I can be more well-rounded to provide to mankind as it was dictated by Orumina and Olodumare himself. I didn't go to Ifa because I wanted to be in the cool man's club. I didn't go and, or I don't think anybody went to go get crowned to go be in the cool girl boys club. I think at the end of the day, we need to take a different perspective and step back. Because then that brings me to my third point of wisdom. Those who are wise understands that what's good for us may not be typically logical in the outside world, right? I'll give you a prime example. If in your Ita it says, hey, you can't eat, I don't know, let's say coconuts. You go thinking, why can't I eat coconuts? Why something so specific I cannot eat? And you begin to manifest that thought process that now you have to remove yourself from this physical plane and think with your third eye and what is the spiritual significance behind it, because they took something away from you. Only the wise will listen to their Ita, because only the wise understands that their Ori is taking them down a path that they have to walk. Because maybe it's that coconut that's going to save your life 10 years from now. Those are the levels of understanding that it takes to walk within a priesthood or priestesshood. So you have to be ready for that. Which brings me to my next point. If you're not ready to walk with respect, with humbleness, okay, then don't walk it. Don't ask to walk it. Because then when you receive it and we begin to lay out these restrictions as dictated by the Orishas, we can't get mad at nobody. You can't be like, my godfather did it or my godmother did it. And then when you start to not listen to your Ita and you go to jail, you get hurt, something bad happens, fortune begins to drop, your blessings are starting to weaken, and you look to your godfather like, man, what's going on? Oh, you must have did the ceremony wrong. You must have did the ebo wrong. You must have done. No. Did you follow your Ita? Which brings me back to my next question of wisdom. Do you know your Ita? Because only then, that will lead you to where you need to go. So, with that said, there is a set code of conduct that needs to be understood. And for a priest or a priestess in this faith, that knowledge, understanding, and the wisdom applies to them even more. You want to get crowned Gregorian Orisha? You want to be a Babalao? You want to go through those trials? Then you have to set the example. Babalaos are not out there going into the nightclubs. The Babalaos are not out there cheating on their husbands or wives. It doesn't happen that way, okay? Babalaos have to walk with the utmost respect, understanding, and wisdom in order to be the leader that they're supposed to be. Are they all doing that? No. Which brings me to my next point. Everyone out there that is initiated or maybe non-initiate and looking to initiate, understand who you are getting involved with. We understand that there's scammers out there. We understand that there's people that have no clue what they're doing out there. We understand that there's people that are, no kidding, going against these code of conducts that I am telling you today that is vital, that they're going against it. So I ask you, is that the person you want leading you? So with that said, everything is for a reason. Everything is for a purpose. No one is trying to oppress anybody. No one's trying to suppress anybody. That is not the name of the game. In our faith, there are set rules, set reasons. And every priest and priestess should be able to explain that to you. So if I tell you in the middle of a ceremony, you need to turn around, turn around. After the ceremony, hey, can you explain to me why we had to turn around? Absolutely. Because that's my job as a teacher, as an elder, to show. So with that said, I wanted to make sure that the code of conduct on how things flow is understood. Which brings me to another point. When you are godfather or godmother to godchildren, understand that it is more than just that last video that I made on Ile fundamentals and what godchildren should expect. There's more than the dynamics between God brothers and God sisters. There's a dynamic, as I stated before, between the godparents and the godchildren. So with that said, what happens when there's spiritual work that needs to happen? You are now part of that house. That house will succeed with you, okay, or it will not succeed because it is without you. A spiritual house in an ile is only as strong as the weakest link. So you have to respect that bond amongst each other. When it's time to do a ceremony, it should be all hands on deck. Unless you can, you can't. That's fine. We all come together. We all join together in order to ensure that we fulfill a spiritual ceremony as one unit. Unity of effort under that Godfather or Godmother's umbrella in order to ensure that we can help mankind. Even those who are just initiates and maybe in Mano de Orula and warriors and stuff, even them, you have a responsibility as well to help mankind too. And as you begin to like to do that and you begin to see how things play itself out, now you're better able to gauge whether you're going to start your own ile one day by getting crowned or becoming a Bawalaos, because that is the foundation. When that code of conduct begins to crumble, there is nothing further that we can truly do. And we need to understand that as people of faith, within this faith that we cherish, that I cherish. And with that said, religious tolerance is always going to be a thing. I ask you all again to respect each other so that we can respect and move on and grow and develop together. So code of conduct, people. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Understand the trials and tribulations. Understand where you're going, and you will be successful. You want to know more information? Shoot us an email. Hit us up on a comment. We will help you. My wife and I, that's what we do. We will help you until we just can't. I promise you that. But with that said, Iburu, Iboya, Bucheche, Cyberland. I know I spoke about this for a little longer than I truly wanted to. I know your time is precious. Give me the like, give me the subscribe. Okay? But with that said, code of conduct. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Be respectful. Be humble. Iburu, Boya, Bucheche. Many blessings to you all. Ache.